All right, and we're recording.
Okay. My name is Dennis, and I was asked by my lawyer, Henry Bung, if I would speak about my overall experience with him, including the results of my case. Henry represented me in the Suffolk County Family Court and in my divorce case also. I am aware that I have the right to edit any portion of this videotape if I choose now or in the future. About 2 years ago, my wife of 10 years, in Christian marriage that I never thought would end, decided to leave the home and take my daughter, who was 9 years old at the time, with her. And she took my daughter into a very bad environment. And being very distraught and not thinking I would ever have to go through this, I was told to get an attorney. She had gotten an attorney, and with all sorts of threats, telling me how I better do this or else she'll take me for everything I have. So I proceeded to get an attorney who was recommended to me by someone. And this attorney took a $5,000 retainer fee and charged me $400 an hour, and recommended that rather than going for a divorce, I try to mediate. All through the case, not knowing, understanding what was going on, the case just dragged on. The mediation went on and on and on without any results. After the $5,000 was used up, another $10,000 in fees was charged to me by this attorney. And at that time, now at $15,000, she told me that the agreement, even if it got worked out, wasn't something that would stand up in court. And I told her that I thought that we were negotiating a separation agreement towards a divorce. And she said, "Oh no, that's more money." But when I had no money, I had borrowed from friends. My wife had taken my car, and at this point I had to think about filing for bankruptcy. I lost my car, my truck, my business, side business, and my daughter was still living in this squalor and the environment that her mother was taking her. One of the pastors of my church had recommended that I go see a man named Henry Long. And I didn't want to do it because my trust was already broken, and I really didn't think that there would be any good outcome or anybody could really help me. And I was literally completely out of money. And I had the last $3,000 of borrowed money that I was ready to turn over to my wife, because the attorney that I had told me I had no choice. And all through the so-called mediation, she kept telling me, when I would bring to her attention that, isn't there something we can do, she would keep telling me that she'll file pendente lite, and they'll not only take what you have in the end, but they'll take your whole salary until this is finished being negotiated. So with nothing to lose, with great hesitation, I went and I met Henry Long. And by the time I got to Henry, I was just in total despair. I had the last $3,000 I had of borrowed money. I walked into his office. Immediately, I looked in his eyes. He was able to make eye contact. I saw that he was an intelligent man and a sincere person. But yet I didn't trust. I was very leery. So I told him my whole story, never thinking that there would be anything more than, yep, that attorney, all of them were all right, I can't do anything for you. But he didn't say that. He was clearly upset. He had told me that the lawyer grossly misrepresented me, and that he could win my case in my favor. I found that hard to believe. But I also told him I had no more money. I said, what I have is the last $3,000 on borrowed money, and even if I gave him that, I had no money to give him because everything was gone. Henry decided, he said he would take the $3,000 and work out payments that would be affordable to me. And he talked to me about it, and we came up with a number that was agreeable, and he said that that would be okay throughout the whole case, and that even at the end of my case, through divorce court or whatever, it wouldn't even come to the amount that this lawyer had already ripped me off for. Well, again, I found this hard to believe, but something about it made me, I knew I could trust him, and so I tried. Well, during this time, I had to go then take my daughter to a law guardian. And at that time, I took my daughter in. The law guardian sat with her 5 minutes, didn't care what I had to say, and basically came out and was very biased against me. And I brought that to Henry, and later on, when we were in court, Henry saw that that was very true. When we went to family court, even in the meetings, you could see it. Even the judge in the case was biased, and I knew it wasn't my imagination, and Henry validated that there was a lot of bias from the law guardian and from the judge, and that they weren't defending my daughter, they were defending another woman. And as time went by, we wanted to have a trial, and the judge wouldn't give us a trial. The judge kept saying, work it out, work it out. And I was willing to work it out. I was always willing to work it out. As a matter of fact, I never wanted a divorce. But I wanted to work out something reasonable, and I believe my daughter was better off in my home. But with all this time where they were being biased and they would not listen to any reason, I wanted to give up and I wanted to walk out. And as we walked out of the courtroom, Henry would tell me, Dennis, I know you want to give up and you have every reason the way they're treating you and they're not practicing law the way they're supposed to, but let's keep going. And he didn't force me to, he just recommended that I should trust him and keep going, and I did. And as time went on, we went for a few more meetings, and finally, again, I don't know what was said behind closed doors with Henry and the other attorneys and the judge and law guardian, whatever, but finally, after multiple requests to have a trial, my wife and her attorney finally agreed to settle. Now, when this all began, my wife had told me, and even my lawyer told me, that there was no way that I could have custody of my daughter and that I would have to pay huge amounts of money. And my wife settled with me, and thanks to Henry, and I now have custody of my daughter, residential custody of my daughter, and the law requires that my wife pays me child support, which was not what I was looking for. What I was looking for was for my daughter to have a safe home, and Henry helped me achieve that. I have to look at my notes. Okay, I would just like to say a little bit about Henry as a person that I've come to know. And I found that Henry is greatly different than other lawyers that I've met. Not that I've been in major contact, but I know some personally and I know others. And I found that Henry not only is intelligent and knows the law, but he also has a compassionate heart, a genuine heart. And that showed itself over time. As we went through, and each time I met with him, he was patient, he was encouraging, I never felt like a fool, and a lot of times he lifted me up when I was feeling down. I found that he didn't take advantage of me. I was expecting to be taken advantage of. I was expecting the case to be dragged on. I was expecting all these things that I had already gone through because he was just an attorney. And that's what they do. But he never, ever did that. I believe that Henry is the type of attorney that all attorneys should be. And I believe that the attorneys take an oath and that they should be concerned about justice and truth. And most are not. They're worried about the bottom line and money and just winning a case. But Henry wasn't like that and isn't like that. He pursues justice and he pursues truth. And he does that with compassion. Most attorneys that I've dealt with and people that I've known, they go in for the kill like car salesmen. They take you because they can. I didn't have that experience with Henry. He's a very honest, trustworthy, very adequate, and competent attorney. I just wanted to let you know. Okay? Is that as good as the first time?